So what do you want from me?
I think it best that Senora Cortazar doesn't know about our association. I like to keep my business as far from here as possible. You look much better. I am glad.
That's a dope monument. Like,
So I'm here
dope.
to see what a big heart you have. Is that the idea? You throw money at these people, they bow low.
As far as the people here are concerned, I am the doctor's friend, nothing more.
They have no idea you finance the whole place.
I prefer it that way.
The anonymous benefactor. Well, that must make you feel pretty good. And is that supposed to balance the scales? Make up for everything else you do?
It makes up for nothing. I am what I am.
What is this place?
Call it a memorial.
To what? I already told you what you can do with your money. You seem like a guy who can take a hint. So what are we doing?
It seems to me that you are at a crossroads. You can continue as you are, drinking, estranged from your family, brawling with street hoods.
He gonna give him purpose.
We both know how that ends.
Yeah.
You have another choice.
Work for you as a button man.
I am in a war. I need a soldier.
So I'm gonna work for one drug dealer killing other drug dealers. That's your idea of a choice.
You know better. You have met them. You know what they are.
Meaning the Salamancas. And you are so very different from them?
He's the better option.
Yes. I am different.
Why me?
Because I believe that you understand.
Understand what?
Revenge.
I like this episode a lot. Hey, my two favorite characters. That man is, I believe that you understand. He said, understand what? Revenge. I like it. But I will say, okay, two things with Mike. It's interesting that he's so old. And they purposely have done long shots of showing him like just sliding his feet or just like they'll show him like feeling the aches and pains of normal just being an elderly man. But then, I mean, the work he's putting in, it's wearing on him, right? Okay. And so it's interesting for a man like that to be at a crossroads. But it makes sense, right? I don't have to go into it. We understand where that is. This man he was in the midst of something where he basically reenacted, like dead ass, reenacted what took place with his son. Right? He had a guy amongst a bunch of scumbags and he had to take him out. And this man was just a gump. He was innocent. You know what I mean? Like he was fooled. And he's like, man, I don't want to do that shit. I'm not, right? And so for them to show the memorial, be at the center of the town, they show it, and you're looking at it, and it's going in the background, but it's there prominently. And he says revenge. Well, we know how the rest of that conversation went. Gus is telling him like, no. I am different. like this is gonna sound fucked up, but when Ziegler showed up, he was giving rules to abide by, and I'm not saying, yo, it's okay, he killed him. It was fucked up. It was messed up, right? But Salamanca would have killed him and his wife. We can't let her go back to Germany. You crazy, right? Like, you feel me? Like it wouldn't even took this much time, and it would have been Don Salamanca himself, right? He wouldn't have had called the twins and that. Like, so they're different. We witnessed how they did Max, cause Don Eladio felt slighted. So, like I said, we can understand how that conversation will go. We don't know if it'll finish up in the future or if they're doing it right then and there. But it's dope that they did that because we watched it, and so they don't have to re-explain it. They don't have to have that part of the conversation. We get what took place in the past, and Mike, what Gus is doing as trying to get him back on his side, he's utilizing what Mike has seen recently with the Salamancas. Right? Like, never forget that them two motherfuckers did the gun fingers at his granddaughter. Right? Like, never forget that. You know what I mean? And now, thinking back on it, just thinking back. We go to that portion in the hospital and we see who did it. It's like, yo, the sweet revenge. But it's also this thing of, at the beginning, Mike can't, he can't make heads or tails of it, and he's not distinguishing between who's good. Well, he's not distinguishing between who's the better of the bad guys. They're all bad guys, including himself. And he makes that distinction in the story that he tells his daughter-in-law, right? Like, he's part of the bad guys. So in his mind, he's like, I can't sully my son's name or even Ziegler. Like, at this moment, I still have a choice to leave this. But Gus is doing what Gus does, and he comes in and he gets in his ear, and yeah, man, like, Mike handled his shit. He got his revenge, right? And so he can understand it. He can understand it because, and watch this. There's also the assumption by Mike that Gus is like the Salamancas or anybody else, but he also Max, like, he was food just like Ziegler and just like Mike's son. Like, Max was food. Like, Max is sitting there into it. They're selling it, and then they blicked him as the blood runs into the pool right in front of Gus, right? So yeah, hey, that's interesting. And I don't know why. I just assumed at some point I know this isn't that type of show, so I was having fun with it. But I don't know. Him and Senora Cortazar, they got a connection. They got a connection. All right. Kim had me pretty upset in this episode. I'm trying to think if I've been as upset at Jimmy as I am at her. As I've said, she's an adult, human being. She's trying to figure things out. So she will go one way, very next scene go another way, very next episode go another way. Okay. Like, I'm all for that. But I expect more from her when it comes to certain shit. You feel me? And right now, she has a response. This is my thing. Okay. I understand where the stress and all of this comes down to it for her. It's internal, and where she is with her job and how it relates to where she thinks she should be and the type of work she should be doing. But my thing is, okay, deal with that how you going to deal with it. But if it's going to affect your people that work under you, it's going to affect the people that work under Kevin and Paige. It's going to affect Paige, who is your friend, who helped you out in a tight fucking spot. It gets to a point where it's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm sitting there like, what? And it was visceral. I'm like, because I'm like, it's one thing that she's taking it too far for me. It's one thing. That's one level. I was going to eat that. Okay. Yeah. That makes for a great show, right? Like, all right, Kim is going to do what she do. I want to see how this goes. But when I don't know if it's called a head partner, but the top guy, he comes in there. I mean, he's being Yo, how professional was he being? Schweiker. He was being mad professional. Like that. And that's what was getting me. I'm like, dog, this guy, as I said, we don't know, what's his name, Kevin? We don't know how, if they dig up something crazy on him, all right? But as for right now, what we can see, him, Paige, Schweiker, the people who work up underneath her, they're doing good work and nobody's slighting you. And for him, he even took the time to come out and speak to you. That motherfucker could, like, on some shit like that. I ain't no lawyer. I don't really know no lawyers, like, on no personal level. So I would think on some shit like that, he wouldn't even want to be close to her. But he came in there face to face and said, you know what? I'm going to take you off Mesa Verde. And he was going to let the shit rest. She goes, no, well, what are you getting at? He's like, do I got to spell it out? Like, some things should be best left unsaid. He was still giving her a way out. And that's something I can guarantee would not be afforded to lower level lawyers that work there. You feel me? But she brings in big business. She brought him a client that's going to continue to pay them for multiple years going forward. And so he's giving her, and she's like, well, what do you mean? And then he breaks it down. Now, when he broke it down, it was something that I didn't say because I didn't want to ruin like the mood or emotion of the episode. But I was thinking, yo, Kevin and Paige, y'all really like don't see this? He laid it out like, wait a minute. You went back. You tried to have him in the first place, have Mesa Verde move to a different plot of land. You then all of a sudden your man is the one who's his lawyer. Like, that's how much Kevin and Paige trust her. This is another thing, like the trust they have for her. And it became a thing where you saw me, I switched up on Acker because at first it was something noble that she was doing to me. And I'm like, man, what he's saying is right, but what she's doing is. But now it's become something different. She's being self-destructive, but in her self-destructive ways, it could be catastrophic to a lot of motherfuckers. Get that Acker motherfucker the fuck up out of here. You signed what you signed. Because now I'm on some other shit. Like, you signed what you signed. And then Kim pulled that shit where she went into the hallway. I just said that man is letting her ride. She came out there and blasted him in the hallway in front of everybody. Raising her voice, and he still let her live. Like, that's where I lost it. I'm like, what the I could see if she was a person who it was going like this, and then, yo, we saw that she was. But that's not what happens with her. I've made this point before. It's like this, right? Like, it's going up and down. Forget the unprofessional thing. That's okay. That happens at work sometimes, right? But for you to carry on in such a way that you know deep down, you're asking him questions you should be asking of yourself. And you're asking it out aloud, and you're trying to make him look crazy. Like, you the one, like, what? That was a good episode, man. I'm sweating at this review. Hey, fucked with it. Next episode up. Just so we clear. May be mad at her. Who knows if I ever like her again based on what they do with the character. That don't mean I'm disliking this at all. So don't get that twisted. You know how I go. And it don't mean that I won't like her later. It don't mean that by the way, doesn't mean she won't change. We saw her go into the office and she decompressed and right? So it doesn't mean, but things had gotten to a boiling point where I apologize for calling Kim Wexler a fictional character, the B word. I'm sorry. Next episode.